Hello everyone, this is ICO Talk. My name is Yelena. Today my guest is Steve Stewart, CEO and co-founder of Vezt. Good afternoon, Steve. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Yelena. Thank you for having me here today.
Okay, so actually I have too many questions because your project sounds like absolutely amazing and extremely interesting. But first of all, will you please tell us a few words about Vezt? What is it all about and what is the main idea behind?
Sure. Me and my co-founder, Robert Menendez, got together about 1.5 years ago, and he had a company that he had co-founded called Circus, and I was doing some business development for them. And we start discussing the music business. My background's in music. I've had about 15 years of managing artists. I had a band called Stone Temple Pilots that I started at zero with and got them their first record deal, and probably had another 20 artists that signed to major labels and major publishers after that. And Robert's background's in finance. He has a Wall Street trading background and an analytical quant background. So he's got a lot of financial Wall Street hedge fund trading in his head, and I've got a lot of music in my head. We came together and thought, what's wrong with the music business? And realized that there are a lot of solutions on the back end. There's a lot of Spotify's and iTunes and ways to distribute music and ways to hear and stream and download music, but nobody was really focused on the front end of music. How do you finance it? How does an artist get the resources and money to keep making music? How do they support themselves? So we came up with Vezt, and Vezt was an idea to allow artists to take pieces of their songs and sell them to their fans or other investors. So if an artist, say, wants to write 10 songs, but takes the first song, records it, and then sells, say, 10% of that song and takes in, say, $10,000, that allows them to fund their videos, fund other recording, and all of it from using their own music. They don't have to sell T-shirts or vodka or something else. They're actually dealing with music, which is what they make. So we developed the platform about 1.5 years ago. We're launching into beta in March of 2018, and we're actually doing a public ICO that starts this Friday, November 3rd.
But this is a blockchain platform. What is the role of blockchain in this mechanism? Will you please tell us about that?
Sure. So traditionally, the way that monies are collected, they're called royalties in the music business. And there's things called PROs, Performing Rights Organizations. So in the US, there's 4 of them. There's BMI, ASCAP, SESCAN, and GMR. So there's the companies that basically they pull in monies that are earned from music performances in certain territories. So in London, it's PRS. In Canada, it's SOCAN. There's about 140 of these around the world. They take in any monies that come in from radio play, from streaming, from downloading, from usage of that music in those countries, and they pay through to the artist. The problem is they hold that money for 8 to 12 months. It's very hard to collect. In certain countries, if you're not registered properly, the money just goes into a black box. So what we're doing is allowing blockchain to come in as our digital ledger. So if you're an investor on our platform, you'll have an account, and if you buy, say, 5% of somebody's song, we will have that in our blockchain recorded so it cannot be changed. And when royalties come in against that earning, so if the 5% of that song that you own earns money from around the world, we collect those royalties, again, through our ledger, which is on blockchain, and then we distribute that money directly into your account.
Uh-huh. Okay, and this is the mechanism of this initial song offering, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we call it an ISO, an initial song offering. It enables an artist to target a specific date and time as to when they want to launch their song. So it's just like a ticket on sale for a concert. If someone says, Beyonce's concert goes on sale Tuesday at 10 a.m., right? Everybody knows that concert's very popular. It's going to sell out very quickly. So they're ready to buy those tickets immediately at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. We're allowing the artist to say, I'm going to put up 10% of my song Thursday at noon, right? So that focuses their social media, focuses their publicity machine, their promotion machine on targeting that particular date and time so that people will help sell out very quickly and create demand and an urgency to buy pieces of those song rights.
And is this project mostly for well-known artists like Beyonce, or is it just mostly for not well-known artists?
It's for both. So if you're a developing artist that needs to get financing and resources on the financial side for your project, to do videos, to promote, to make new music, we can help you. If it's an established artist that already has a track record, we can also help you, because a lot of artists aren't really in touch with their fan base, right? The labels have come into play, the publishers have come into play. It's hard for an artist, especially an established artist, to connect directly with their fans. Many established artists cannot tour anymore. Somebody may have died in the band. They cannot get another record deal. There aren't any other ways to increase their financial income. They have a steady income from royalties, but it's flat. And this is a way that they can take the third song from their fifth album and put it up into their fan base and say, I want to raise $100,000. And if they get, say, 5% of those fans to contribute anywhere from $1 to $1,000, they can raise that money very quickly. And also big artists, if they want to give something to charity or they have a favorite cause, this is the perfect vehicle that lets them take that money, not from their own wallet, but from their fans. And if their fans support the cause that they're supporting, it really takes the money from the fans and puts it into the charity that they support.
Mm-hmm. And have you already got some agreements with some famous musicians?
We do. We've signed about 13 songs already from some big artists. We have some names that we cannot release just yet, but they're very well-known artists in the U.S. and around the world. We're in talks with another 4 or 5 big artists. There should be a big announcement in the next 48 hours from an artist directly. We're actually going to have him step on social media and our social media and his social media channels and push out the announcement. So we're signing a handful of artists right now. We're just prior to beta, so we don't need to have thousands of songs yet. We just need a few songs to put onto our platform and run through the blockchain and start to set up our own platform.
I see. And the app will be available only in the US, yeah?
The app will be available anywhere in the world. We're launching, I think, first on iOS, and then we'll go to Android very soon after, but it is a global app. We think music obviously works in all around the world, and we want to make sure that we serve everybody globally if possible.
Okay, let's now proceed to the ICO itself, which you call token generating event, not the ICO, yeah? First of all, would you tell us about the hard cap?
Sure. We've hard capped at $15 million. We don't feel that we need much more money than that to run right now. That should give us plenty of runway, probably 48 months or more of financing to get the company up and running and get the product out the door. It is a TGE, a token generating event. It starts at 400 UTC on November 3rd. It's for ex-US only. We had a pre-sale in the US that did very well about 4 weeks ago, and now we're going out to our public sale, which is ex-US. We are compliant with SEC Reg D 506B, so we cannot sell to the US investors and the public ICO or TGE, but in the pre-sale we were able to do the US investors, and we had a very good raise there.
So the US citizens won't be allowed to take part in the ICO, yes? So you don't have a security token, as I got it, or?
It's correct. It's a utility token, and you're correct. The public token generating event will be only for non-US.
Okay. And how much?
So everybody in Moscow can do this. You guys in Moscow and
sure, yeah.
Eastern Europe can do this.
I got it. And how much did you get during the pre-ICO?
We raised $3.35 million in the pre-sale.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's from US accredited investors only.
Okay, and what exactly do you need this sum for? So to say, what are the key milestones of development of the roadmap?
So here's where we are today. We have the UX, UI, and design phase complete. We have a prototype that's a mock based on the UX, UI, and the design phase, and our deadline to complete that was September, so we're under the wire there. The next phase is implementing the blockchain technology and the back-end implementation to touch all the UX, UI side. We're in the middle of doing that now. We expect to have that complete by December. And then we're looking at probably a beta in what we call the end of Q1 of 2018. So probably March of 2018, we're going to start onboarding artists, onboarding users, and going forward that way. And the use of funds is basically to scale our development, our production. And then we need to get global, as we mentioned before. We want to be a global reach, have a global footprint, and to be in major markets like Russia, China, Korea, Japan. We need to have staff, and we need to have development teams in place. Some of those countries need specific connections and possibly partnerships in those territories to make this platform work. So we're in the middle of having those discussions now, but those are relatively expensive places to go and set up shop. So a good portion of these funds that we're raising is going to be used to scale us very quickly.
Okay, and now in more details about the tokens, what are the key benefits for your token holders?
So our token is a utility token, as we mentioned. If you hold the token, you can use that directly on our platform to buy song IP. There will be a discount against fiat currencies. We are going to allow fiat currencies as well, but we feel that to value our token, to keep the value up, we're going to give people that use our token directly a discount to using that to buy IP on our platform. And eventually we will expand beyond music. We'll go into books, we'll go into film, TV, video content, anything with a royalty stream attached. Our hope is that our token becomes the form of exchange for IP online. So just as Amazon handles hardware and some downloads for software and is global, we want to be the global marketplace for IP. Okay.
And now please a few words about the team besides you and Robert, who are there. How many people are there in the team?
Sure. Right now we've got about 8 to 9 people on the team. We have a development team that's based in the US. We have our CTO that's based in Los Angeles. We have a creative staff that's based here. We have a marketing staff. We have a communications director out of Atlanta. And we have a couple of other growth officers. We just brought on a gentleman named Jin Yu. He's an amazing relational guy that has experiential relationships all around the world. We've just done a partnership with Style Fashion Week for 2018, where they're going to provide us with a stage, and I think it's 28 markets around the world, and we're a premier sponsor with them. So we've got a small staff. Like I said, we just received funding, so we're starting to grow at this point, but we're looking at building very quickly.
Okay. And what do you personally think about the future of the ICO in the world?
It's interesting. Robert and I were just introduced to this about 2 months ago. It is a very new way of funding. We took traditional VC funding before that, so we were building this platform prior to even knowing about ICOs. We're doing it the traditional way. We were getting funding from venture capitalists. We were building slowly.
Oh, really? How much did you get? Well,
we took more than $250,000, so a very small amount from venture capital. It was, again, pre-revenue, pre-product, but we found a company called Binary Capital that really believed in what we were building. They rarely do any type of pre-revenue, pre-beta investments, but they liked the concept, and they gave us a little bit of money to actually start out. So we came from that. Once we started to get into blockchain development, we heard about the ICO market. We studied it very quickly and realized that opportunity was something we couldn't pass up. I mean, you're seeing a lot of companies now raise that way. A lot of hedge funds and venture capitalists are going into the ICO market because it compresses their timeline from what could have been 8 to 10 years to an IPO into 4 to 6 weeks to an ICO, and they could take their money out much quicker at higher multiples. So we're realizing that was where the financial and the financing component was going, and we had to get in front of that and do our own in order to be competitive.
I see. Okay, and now just to sum it up, in 1 or 2 sentences, why shall I invest in your project?
You should invest in Vezt because we will be the future of IP marketing and an IP marketplace that's global. We're going to take what people are doing with hardware products and software products, but get below that into the actual intellectual property or the rights that underlie everything from music to film to books to video content, and create a marketplace for that. So if you want to get in early, understanding that there's value to starting out quicker, 5 years from now, if we were very successful, it will be much harder to buy in at the types of rates that you can buy in now. So if you have a chance to own things at a much lower rate today, that's much more beneficial than waiting 5 or 10 years than buying them at, say, market rates at that point. So it's an exciting opportunity. Nobody else is building what we call little micro publishing sites that are allowing people to buy into very small slices of IP. It's almost like crowdfunding for IP. So it's allowing artists to benefit, video content creators, filmmakers, and authors eventually when they have their IP on our platform.
Okay, then Steve, thank you very much for this amazing interview, and thank you for your time and for being with us today.
Yolanda, thank you so much. We look forward to speaking with you soon, and please join us on our token generating event on November 3rd.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Okay. And I remind you that my guest today was Steve Stewart, a CEO and founder of Vezt. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch more interesting videos. Bye-bye.